How much do you disagree with this?
Well, I disagree with him because I liked the movie. I thought the movie, I gave it a B+. Yeah, it was a little long, but it did.
He said it took him 5 sittings to get through it.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just old. Maybe his attention span isn't that long, Skip. But it seems like, to me, he has a problem with Warner Brothers because he was the original director, and maybe Warner Brothers did not invite him back to do the sequel. That's not uncommon, Skip. We've seen a lot of guys direct the first installment of it, and then they go in a different direction for the next one, whether it's creative differences or whatever the case may be. But I think at this point in time in his life, in his career, LeBron James understands one thing. I am going to receive a certain level of criticism no matter what I do. And once you realize you're not going to be able to appease everybody, nor should you attempt to, your life will be much better. And so I think that's where LeBron is in his situation, Skip. Look, this is what he said. I'm trying to figure in 2016, this is what he said. He says, I don't see how it could work. Plus, I don't want them to make it. That's probably the real reason, isn't it? So 5 years ago, the idea that it might come, Skip, LeBron...
He said that Dwight Howard and company came to him and said, how about Dwight as the Jordan figure? Yeah, go ahead.
It's Skip. LeBron James is every bit big today as Jordan was back then. He's the equivalent, Skip. He's this generation's Michael Jordan. Now, you might not like you might not like what he stands for. You might not like his game is not as flashy as Mike. But he is, to say the sais quoi, what are you talking about? It seems to me that, man, people, I think, to make a long story short, Skip, I think a lot of people just have, no matter what LeBron does, they're going to have a problem with it. And there's this fraction of people over here that's in Jordan's camp. And anything that LeBron does, Jordan did it better. Jordan
so it's
did
just a little fraction.
Well, no, I'm just saying, well, fraction. I mean, you got 7 billion people.
Okay,
I mean, let's just say there's 800 million, or however the case may be, Skip. There are the people over there that's never going to side with LeBron because they're in Jordan's camp. And that's just the way it is. And I think LeBron's okay with that. But to go out of your way to try to offer a harsh critique, okay, fine, I didn't like the movie. But it seems to me it got a little personal. Skip, if I don't like a movie, okay, I don't like the movie. I didn't like that. But to take personal shots at the actors, I think that was a little out of the way, unnecessary. That's his opinion. It's well within his right to say that. But I disagree with him.
Okay. As I read these quotes last night, my thought was obviously my sentiments exactly. I couldn't have said it better because I said it before he said it. It's not that I'm trying to pick apart the remaking of the movie, the plot twists that they threw in, however the subplots, the whatever plots. For me, it's simply that LeBron is not Michael.
He didn't have to be, Skip, see?
Okay, but that's just me. And I told you, see, we did it Monday, so I told you Tuesday that after I slept on it and I reflect on it, you know, I have no problem with LeBron until you keep putting him in the Jordan context. Like, I'm great with LeBron. He's obviously all-time great. I always tell you he's a good guy and family man. We go on. I love, and as a social justice crusader, there's never been anything like him. And I give up all that to him. But as soon as you put him in, he's better than Jordan category, I'm outraged because he's just not. And now we get to making a movie that revolves strictly around Michael Jordan in 1996. He was the centerpiece. He was the son of that movie. He was the SUN son. He was the force field in that movie from start to finish. And what did I tell you Monday in critiquing is that he was much better at playing himself than LeBron was at playing himself. I also gave in to you to say they had a plot twist involving his second son. Wasn't actually played by his second son, but in the movie, he's his second son.
Correct.
That was pretty deep about parenting and fatherhood and how you treat your sons. And you were deeply affected by it because it sort of impacted you with your son who just got married on Saturday.
Correct.
And you watched the movie on Sunday. Correct. So it's dear to your heart. Right. And it was very emotional for you. And my point was, man, you're asking LeBron to do a whole lot of acting that it's not his first job. It's not what he's been practicing all his life to do. And now you're asking him to go deep as an actor in ways I didn't think he could pull off, and he didn't pull it off.
Skip, you make it seem like Jordan, his performance was Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther. He wasn't even stop it.
Boy, he was a great Michael Jordan. And again, remember what I did. I watched this Space Jam, LeBron Space Jam, on Friday night, and I turned right around on Saturday night, and I watched Jordan's again. I don't know how many times I've seen it before, but I needed to get it fresh in my head. And it was shocking to my eyes and to my senses how great Jordan was. He's so comfortable. He was so cool. He was so funny. He owned it, but he owned himself in the part. He dominated that movie in ways LeBron was not able to dominate, because I thought LeBron came across oftentimes as wooden, as if he was acting for the first time in a high school play. It didn't ring true to me. Again, it's Jordan versus LeBron in charisma. And let's go back to what Joe Pytka, the original director, said. He said, I've worked with 3 people that have this magical quality, whatever you want to define it as, charisma, star power, I don't know, magnetism. And he said the 3 people are Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and Madonna. And he said there's never been anything like those 3 where you just immediately, without understanding anything about them, you gravitated to them. They took over rooms. And
so you don't think LeBron can take over a room?
Not like Jordan can. And again,
but see that's the thing. He can take over a room, but not like Jordan. Well, he can play basketball, but not like Jordan.
Well,
he can sell sneakers, but not like Jordan. Skip, it's okay.
Well, no, it's okay for LeBron to be second best. It's just okay. Well, it's okay.
That's what you wanted to be.
Okay.
But some people say he's not second best.
All right, I'm going to finish Joe Pytka's quote. So he says, in the end, LeBron is a great basketball player, blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on about what a great basketball player is, but he says he is not Michael, not as a basketball player or as an actor. Maybe they should call this movie something else, said Joe Pytka. My wife, Ernestine, turned to me as soon as we watched the Friday night, this new Space Jam, and she said, whoa, why did they have to call it Space Jam? What's it? The new legacy.
Right.
She said, why didn't they just rename it? Just do it. Do your own brand of it. Don't call it Space Jam.
Warner Brothers didn't want to do that.
Okay, but you could. You have enough star power on your own. You have enough box office power because you have 142 million followers on social media that you could have just said, let's go a different direction.
Well, Warner Brothers has $242 billion.
Okay.
Because we've seen this before. We've seen companies says, okay, this is the direction that we want to go in. And the actor says, that's not the direction that I want to go in. And it says, okay, we'll find somebody that wants to go in the direction that we want to. So Warner Brothers, LeBron wanted to do the movie. Warner Brothers wanted to take the movie in the direction. They saw LeBron says, okay, let's take it in a different direction. Let's make it family-oriented. Let's make it about a father and his son, and about what the father wants that might not be what the son wants. But see, because it wasn't like directly followed Jordan, it wasn't directly basketball themed, although basketball was very important because LeBron wanted his son to be like him and take basketball serious. His son wanted to do computer. He wanted to do gaming.
I got it. But in the end, LeBron, like Jordan, becomes a cartoon. He goes into the toon world and he plays a basketball game against the villainous, whatever you want to call them, Monstars or Goon Squad.
Correct. Okay? Yes.
And so it's still, the motif is the same.
Yes.
It's just you take this framework and you're going to go in a little different subplot direction within the framework, but in the end, he goes into the cartoon world and saves the cartoon world from the evil forces.
Well, one situation is about a family. The other situation says, look, I took up all this time and I can still beat those players there. That's what that was about. That's totally the Skip. That's a totally different plot line.
All right. I defy anybody, and I challenged everybody Monday. I challenge you to watch those 2 movies back to back and tell me that Jordan doesn't have more charisma in his movie than LeBron does in his. And again, maybe it's the director's fault in this movie, or not. It's the script's fault. It's 2 hours long. It's way too long. It's over long, and you kind of lose sight of what the message is after a while, because it just the basketball game at the end takes like an hour to play. It's endless on film. I was dozing off in it, but it just went on so long.
But here's the thing, Skip. When you're playing a role and you're being a parent, maybe charisma is not what you're trying to showcase on the screen.
All right, I got it. But here's, in the end, there's a recent LeBron quote I'm going to read back to you, and it's the essence of my issue with this. LeBron said recently, in my younger days, part of my thinking was, Space Jam was so good, how can I top this? Okay, that's a good thought. That's a safe thought to me, because I told you, LeBron, I've warned him again and again, don't try to be or beat Michael Jordan, because that is the GOAT to me. Now, you'd say otherwise, but that's, you're going to bite off a little more than you can chew if you try to beat him on and off the court. That's just me. But he goes on to say, in this recent quote, there's always going to be conversations about LeBron trying to do everything Michael did, okay? But I've gotten older, and you know who you are. He means as I got older. You know what you stand for. It's something Mike created, and it is his. I held that with a lot of responsibility. Okay, what did I tell you Tuesday? What offends me the deepest is LeBron's, what I believe is delusional audacity to say, I can do this. I can take his movie and I can make it better than he did. And it's another way he's trying to convince what I call the blind witnesses out there, and there are billions of them, 142 million social media followers, trying to convince them by telling them you're the greatest. You can't show them, because it's hard to defeat 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs when you are now 4-6 in the finals.
But see, will you take it back, and that's the only thing that you use? Well, if it's all about rings, shouldn't Bill Russell be the GOAT? That's 11-1.
All right, but 6 MVPs, and you can go on and
Russell
on about...
Russell has 5 MVPs, and back then, before Russell, they really didn't give the Finals MVP until 1969, which was Russell's last Finals. Okay,
but don't we look back at those times as almost prehistoric NBA times?
But it happened.
Okay,
everybody
it did.
Look,
all right.
Skip, you got to realize, they didn't count block shots until 1973, 74. Were they blocking shots?
Yeah.
They didn't give assists. Were they not assisting the basketball? Were they not stealing the basketball? So just like the sacks didn't become an official stat until 82, if I'm not mistaken. Did they not sack the quarterback prior to 1982?
Sure.
Oh, so they should they not get credit for that?
Okay. Bill Russell was a great player, but he's as tall as LeBron. He's 6'9" to LeBron's 6'9".
But Skip,
that's the evolution of basketball.
Let this sink in. People are upset. You are offended by LeBron thinking he has the audacity to do something that LeBron did. Imagine me being upset or offended that someone tried to do something like somebody. I don't care. You get upset when you are sincerely upset by that. And it's like LeBron, because like, you know what, guys? I got it in the next. Breaking news, LeBron James has an announcement. I have a cure for COVID. What took you so long? You had to let 600,000 people die before you come up with a cure? That's what y'all say. Michael Jordan would have had that thing 2 years ago. That's what y'all do to LeBron. It's always Michael could have done it better. Michael did it first. Okay, Skip, just because somebody did it first, that doesn't mean they did it better.
Think about this. This man, Michael Jordan, is still selling his sneaker brand to 8-year-olds.
Yes.
They want Jordans.
Yes.
They might want LeBrons in some cases, but in the largest case, they want Jordans before they want LeBrons.
Yes.
That's impossibly great, right?
Yes.
The lasting star power of that, it lives on even today.
Right.
LeBron can't sell sneakers the way Jordan still sells sneakers.
No, Skip. And guess what? They still sell cell phones. AT&T was here first. But that doesn't mean Google couldn't come along. Google created a cell phone also. There are other companies that created things also, Skip. Just because you did it first doesn't mean someone else here. Just imagine if somebody just created the first thing and nobody said, nah, we good, that's it. What?
Okay, this is just me. I don't care if he created it first or created it 5th or 6th or 7th. I don't. I just know he was better. And I just know his star power. Now, again, I was around him a lot, so I felt it, and I know it better. I have not been around LeBron a lot. I've observed him very closely, and I know a lot of people around him very well. So I think I have a pretty good sense of LeBron, and I have a great sense of Jordan. You have been around Jordan enough to know.
Yes.
You want to talk special?
Oh, Skip, I'm not denying that. Everybody that I've ever talked to, he doesn't seem real. He seems like he's levitating. He seems like he's a Buddha or a ghost or something.
It does seem like he's levitating in the same room that you're in.
I won't deny that. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been around Tiger Woods. Maybe Tiger Woods possessed that characteristic. I haven't been around. You know, I'm sure Michael Jackson. I'm sure there have been people maybe Elvis had that also. Skip, I don't know, but I've been around Michael a little bit, and he's the only guy that ever been around that didn't seem real.
So I appreciated what Pytka said about the three entertainers, the three superstars he's been around. I saw Michael Jackson once in concert from the second row. I saw Madonna in concert twice from maybe the third or fourth row. Right. So I was close enough where I could absorb the charisma, the star power, and I'm good with this. Yes. I think that's an apt comparison.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's something that you can't teach or coach. You either have it or you don't. And you can't talk yourself into having it. And it's magnetism that Michael had so comfortably on screen that I didn't get from LeBron. And again, they made a great big movie as far as they threw a bunch of money at it. And I give you, the plot twists I thought they were a little weird for being in a cartoon, but they made it a little different within the confines of the same sort of format as the first one.
I might need to go watch Space Jam again, because you're putting Jordan and you make it seem like he's Jim Brown in acting. You make it seem like he's one of these one of these Denzel. Like he's giving you
he's Denzel.
Like he's giving you Othello or something.
No, but go watch it. I dare you to.
I'm like,
you
come on.
Want to talk about comfort level? He just takes it over immediately, and he's cool with it. There's nothing. LeBron was trying so hard to act. It's like, look, Ma, I'm acting. Watch this.
I gotta act. I gotta play a part, but I'm also being a father.
Okay. And again, maybe that's too much to ask of a LeBron who's not an experienced actor. Obviously, Jordan was completely inexperienced as an actor.
Yeah.
He just stepped into the middle of it, and the whole thing revolves even more around him in the original than it evolves around LeBron.
And plus,
remember, there was no Don Cheadle in the first one. Don Cheadle is a superstar to me. He's right up there with Denzel to me in sheer ability to act. He can do anything. He's done.
He has range. Yes.
Yeah, huge range, and again, he's so great at it that he's almost too likable to be a villain, even though he played the villain great. I liked him. I didn't hate him at all. I didn't fear him because he's Don Cheadle. Right. And I like Don Cheadle. And I told you that movie that's out right now, No Sudden Move, he actually plays a very lovable criminal, a guy who just got out of prison and falls into a situation that, look out.
Right.
And he pulls it off where you're rooting for the guy who just got out of prison.
Right.
Well, that's Don Cheadle's power. Okay, so Don Cheadle helped drive this movie because he's the co-star with LeBron, right?
Right.
I don't know who has the most lines in the movie, but it might be close between.
Skip, he's a villain, so there has to be, when you're doing a hero and a villain, obviously LeBron is going to be the hero. You have to have a villain, and so Don Cheadle did a great job of playing the villain. Okay, Skip, but this notion that because Michael Jordan was in a movie, so I guess guys shouldn't do shoes. Kevin Durant and Kyrie and LeBron and anybody that have the shoe shouldn't do a shoe because they're never going to surpass Michael Jordan, so don't do shoes. Well, you shouldn't do beverage commercials because Michael Jordan did Gatorade.
But none of those guys ever suggested, I'm going to be better than Jordan. Not one of them. LeBron does nothing but suggest, I got this. And in that quote I read you, what he's saying is, I held up everything that Michael created with a lot of responsibility. He's saying to you, it was time for him to pass the torch to me and for me to make my Space Jam. Well, that's what it is.
He said, I felt that if I was going to do the movie, I needed to do it justice because Mike put his stamp on it, and I need to hold it. Just because they don't say it publicly. You don't think Kevin Durant and Dame and Steph Curry are trying to be the greatest players ever, just because they don't say it publicly?
Do you think in Kevin Durant's heart of hearts that he thinks he's better than Michael Jordan? I do not.
Yeah.
I do not. And I know LeBron is trying to convince himself.
So let me ask you a question. When Tom Brady started out, what was Tom Brady hoping to do? So Tom Brady says, you know what? I'm just 6 rounds.
You just went to the GOAT of GOATs.
Time out. Skip, time out. If you say he's the GOAT now, he wasn't the GOAT when he started. So Tom Brady says, you know what? Man, Montana got 4 Super Bowl rings. He's 3-time MVP. He's won MVPs. Man, I can never do that. So let me be a 6th-round draft pick and let me stay in my place. Is that the way he thinks? Is that the way he thought?
No, obviously not. And
Why not?
when Kevin Durant was drafted, he's thinking, one day I got to try to be better than Jordan. Maybe someday I will be.
Right.
Do you think Kevin Durant, after what are we up to now? 12?
14.
He's going to 14 next year. Do you think right now he thinks, I've done enough that I'm better than Jordan? No, he doesn't think that. Not for one second. But LeBron said 2 years ago, that right there made me the greatest player ever when they came back from 3-1 down in the finals.
But Skip, that's his opinion. Why is he entitled to, just like you said Jordan is the GOAT. That's your opinion. Some people believe that is LeBron.
I don't know how. And I don't know how anybody could watch The Last Dance and not say, it's over.
Skip, so let me ask you a question. 20 years from now, when LeBron James package his things together that only show his crowning achievements, what do you think people going to say? I don't know how they say he's not the GOAT. That's what you do. You package, Skip. If I want to chronicle my life and put the adversity that I overcame and all the great things that I did, hell, I might get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Are they going to put the 2011 finals in that package?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It was the all-time superstar meltdown. You're disqualified from being the GOAT.
Just like they put those first 10 playoff games that he only won one of them, and he got swept twice in the first round. They didn't put that in there.
The one in which Larry Bird said, that's God disguised as Michael Jordan?
But
really?
He lost. You see what you did?
I did what Larry Bird did. Now, he saw it coming. He said, that's God.
I remember it was probably about 6 years ago, that Devin Booker scored 70 points, and he held up a sign, and everybody reamed him because he lost. Michael Jordan is the only guy that can lose and still get elevated. Nobody else can do that. Kevin Durant doesn't get elevated when he loses. LeBron doesn't get elevated when he loses. Steph Curry, you cream when he lost. Michael Jordan is the only guy in the history of sports that can lose and get elevated. I just want to know how and why.
He went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. And he walked it off in Utah in Game 6 with Scottie Pippen sick and hurt.
I just want to know. So
game over.
I could have swore they started playing finals in the 50s. So when did they start just playing finals? 91 through 2021. So they only been playing finals for 30 years. So what did Russell win? What did those other guys win back in the 70s, 80s, and 60s?
LeBron's lost 6 finals.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.